Hello and welcome to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, the Fat Jack. The weekend is here. Pro Bowl week, Super Bowl week. Already screwing it up. We're going to try to run the show for 2 weeks. I'm already screwing it up. But if you're ready to make some money, now is the time to get signed up. And glad you're tuning in because we're going to have a lot of information that's going to get you ready for the biggest football game on the planet. That's going to get you in the system to make money during the 25-26 year. So much information. We'll look back at the conference championship games and much, much more. Mr. Brandon Rush from Louisville, Kentucky. How are you?
I am good. You know, a fun weekend, very entertaining games. And the best news of all, we avoided the nightmare scenario.
Nightmare scenario is Bills Mafia versus
Eagles fans.
Eagles fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing sexy about the fan matchup for sure. Yeah, I will tell you the games, Brandon. I mean, for somebody that I admitted each week leading up to the playoffs, I was struggling in certainly the college football playoffs with all of the favorites and all the overs. Thankfully, everything else was winning, but I have gotten dialed in. I mean, I know you've seen it, but it's been absolutely on fire right now in football over the last couple of weeks. And it's not just that I'm winning and that we're winning. It's how, when you dig a little bit deeper down and you take out the games that have, 5 turnovers or 4 turnovers and you just look at the matchups. This last week, during the conference championships, I gave out Philadelphia over, but the Buffalo game over, and then I gave out Buffalo, and the selection of all that was Philly, which was the biggest winner. The easiest play was Philly. That was the selection. The other ones were opinions. But how you know that I'm dialed in is that I knew that if Kansas City got there, that Buffalo was going to score. And so I released an extra play and gave Buffalo's team total over 23.5 points, which they had gone over that like 7 straight weeks. I mean, this is a team scored 24 points regularly. But if they didn't win somehow, it was going to be because they weren't able to get enough stops. That was kind of the suspect part of the game, in my opinion. You knew that Mahomes and them were going to be able to turn it on and kind of flip the light switch, which they did offensively. And you knew their defense, which has one of the top rush defenses in the league, was going to have some success slowing down Buffalo a little bit. But it was Buffalo going to get there? I knew Buffalo was going to score some points. They were going to figure out why. They're very two-dimensional. They're able to throw the ball down the field. Josh Allen is a superstar. But were they going to be able to get enough stops with their defense? So I gave that team total out, which gave everybody an extra unit. So it's not just the winning, it's how. The best selections are winning easily. They can fade the turnovers. It wouldn't have mattered. Philly beat Washington 8 times out of 10 if they played. And the other one, kind of a toss-up to the end, could have gone either way. We'll talk about Kansas City and the official effects a little bit. But the reality is, an evenly matched game, evenly matched teams, comes down to the wire, goes over relatively easily, which was one of the plays. So really dialed in as we head into the last game of the season. Great time of the year to go to fatjacksports.com. Didn't even mention basketball. Absolute killing it again. 5 or 6 games of profit last week. No real losing days unless I had like one pick. I went 0-1 on, I think, Friday or Sunday. Anyway, but every other day, either 2-0 sweeps or 2-1, a couple 1-1 that had another really bad beat in the middle of the week on Wednesday. We've had kind of bad beat Wednesdays going on basketball. We'll talk about that a little bit. But right now, go to fatjacksports.com. If you're going to be betting this weekend, betting on the Super Bowl, absolutely get signed up. I haven't lost the Super Bowl in 12 years. I mean, it's been a long time since it hasn't been an easy winner. It hasn't even been close, honestly. Player props have won all 12 years. Also, you'll get some player props, maybe not all. I haven't really decided on that, Brandon. We've had a bunch of props going out. They've been very profitable over the year. I normally give away 8 to 10, sometimes more props for free.
Right. Every Super Bowl year, because there is only one game, you get maybe a side or a total in the game. And it kind of feels like there's a lot more profit to be generated there. Yeah. So prior to this year, for those who don't know, we never had a weekly prop package. And you would give out those prop plays in the playoffs and especially in the Super Bowl where you get 8 to 10 for free. Now that we actually have a props package, I'm sure it is a decision for you. Do you go ahead and offer some, but not all? And if you want to get all, you got to get the props package. I mean, yeah, there's some bookkeeping on the back end to be
Yeah,
figured
it's
out for
it's
sure.
not really about the selling of the prop package. It's just giving something for free that other people are paying for.
Mm-hmm.
If you signed up a
Mm-hmm.
month ago and you signed up for 4 or 5, 4 weeks of props, you don't really want me giving them all up for free, and I don't blame you, and I don't need to. What I can do is we can have our cake and eat it too. There will be some prop bets that'll go out to you go to fatjacksports.com. It's $99 for the Super Bowl. You're going to get the predicted final score, the best bets for the game, a little bit of a synopsis on why I believe what's going to happen is going to happen. That way you'll feel a little more confident probably. And you're going to get some prop bets probably, I don't know, 5 to 7. It's normally very easy in the Super Bowl to find 15 or more
Mm-hmm.
that are going to make us money. I mean, it's one of those weeks where in the casinos rush to have lots of volume of options for people to bet, which I get it because everybody's betting on anything right now. But they leave out some stuff that's very, very easy to make money. And so it's been an easy weekend. Whether the selections, opinions, the sides, totals have won or not, the prop bets have more than generated profit each and every year. So that's going to happen again this year. Go for $99, fatjacksports.com. If you get the basketball through at least, the end of through February or through the March Madness or through the NBA Finals, you get the Super Bowl information for free. So if you're playing the hoops, don't sign up for the football. You're going to get the football for free when you get the hoops. So the best bets go through next year. Lowest rates of the year, they go up again Super Bowl Sunday. So you've already missed out on you're paying $200 more now to win than you would have if you had signed up December 31st. If you wait till after the Super Bowl, actually, if you wait till after February 1st, you're paying more. You wait till after the Super Bowl, you're paying more. The bigger problem with waiting till after this year's Super Bowl is that you don't get the baseball season for free.
Mm.
We've given away baseball for free. It generates about 50 games of profit per year. You not only get the season win totals and the who's going to win the World Series and all those, you get all the plays, not some of the plays, not part of the plays, all the plays for free. When you sign up for the 2025-26 at least football season, you honestly should add those extra sports now. They are absolutely killing it. Soccer won again last week. As I
A couple
said,
bangers in there too.
right?
Goodness.
250 to 1, to plus 250, won easily, like 3 to 1. I mean, easy winners. I'm telling you, those guys are really, really good, generating a ton of profit in soccer. A lot of those soccer packages expire coming up this weekend. And the Super Bowl week, there
Mm-hmm.
is no soccer. So now's the best time. Get through at least the English Premier League in May. Go longer though. If there's stuff over the summer, I've already been told they're playing soccer all summer. So it's not like just because it's mainly been English Premier League that we're going to stick with that. That's going to be other stuff going on all summer. We'll be play. Is the Europa? Is that every year? Or the all those different?
The Euros are they alternate with the World Cup. So, but there are other European competitions and world competitions that will be available, plus the Champions League, stuff like that. That's going to be going on too.
Yeah, so that's where they're going to head. For those you don't know, I don't do the soccer myself, but I have guys that I mean, arguably are the best handicappers period on the planet of any sport. I mean, they are really good. Great value, honestly. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the best football handicapper in the country for sure, and best basketball handicapper. I don't do soccer, but I am in awe at how much profit they generate on guys kicking a ball around and can't use your hands. So, and it's very inexpensive, less than $100 a week to get those plays, and you will make money. Go to fatjacksports.com, add those soccer plays, and start making some money. We're going to talk a little bit about it in the second segment about some prop bets, about those type of things. Brandon, just quickly, your takeaway from last week: the best teams, are they there? Where are we as far as what we've got in this Super Bowl matchup? And are you okay from a where are you on this? What are your thoughts?
I mean, to go backwards. Yeah, we've seen this matchup before. We had this matchup in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It was fine. The Eagles fans were mostly tame, and the Chiefs fans, this is old hat for them now. They're not coming in acting like newbies. They know how important this week is, so they're not being jackasses in public. We got a 14-win team in the regular season and a 15-win team in the regular season. Are the best teams there? Two of the top four or two of the top five are absolutely there. The only thing that really could have thrown a monkey wrench into this is if had Washington won that game, then it would have been a case of this is a mismatch. This is going to be a blowout. This is not going to be an entertaining game to watch on Super Bowl Sunday. But this is a fabulous game. The storylines are amazing because you get the Chiefs trying to become the first team to three-peat. You get the Eagles, who lost on this stage to this team not too long, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yes, yeah. It's their second trip in 3 years. And that was a spectacular game. I am very excited for the Super Bowl. The last handful of Super Bowls the Chiefs have been in, they have trailed early and stormed back. Is that something that we need to maybe be watching for as we get into handicapping the game? It's a come from behind win, the Eagles first half. I mean, all those are things to consider, but there's a very fun matchup, and the opportunities for this game for sports bettors it's phenomenal. I'm very excited for this matchup.
One of the prop bets that a lot of sharp guys will take advantage of is if you score first, win the game.
Mm-hmm.
That through the history of the league has been a play, and you normally have to lay 180 to play it. It's almost 2-1, but scoring first to win the game has been, over the history of the Super Bowl, a good bet. It has not been recently. To your point,
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City's been down, then they come back. The bigger problem, I think, when the general public looks at it, is that how much of the recency bias do you dip into what you're handicapping today? Because if you look at these two teams today, after last week, Philly hangs half 100 on
Mm-hmm.
Washington. And by the way, if Washington had won, they would have said, "Hey, we beat Detroit, we beat Philly back to back."
But then they beat Minnesota late in the year.
Yeah.
The
That's what they would
gauntlet that
say.
they would have gone through would have been incredible.
Our
Right.
rookie quarterback's not a rookie anymore, and
Right. Right.
we're here for good. Now they would have been the look ahead lines. Washington would have been a 4.5-point favorite to either Buffalo or Kansas City.
Underdog. 4.5 point underdog.
Sorry,
Yeah.
underdog. Yeah, they were going to be a 4.5-point underdog, and the line came out where it was supposed to. The look-ahead lines. We didn't talk about this. I talked about it around the country when I went on, but I had access to all the look-ahead lines. Buffalo and Kansas City were going to be 1.5-point favorites over whoever won, Philly or they were going to be 1.5-point over Philly. They were going to be 4.5-point favorites over Washington. So, but when you look at this week, Brandon, you got teams scoring a bunch of points now, and Kansas City are the big problem with what we had though over the last month or so of the season, or actually most of the season, was that not scoring,
Mm-hmm.
no cohesiveness
Mm-hmm.
offensively. Lo and behold, this team got healthy. Number one, Hollywood Brown's back. You've got Worthy's playing great, catching a bunch of balls. Travis Kelce did not have a great game in the conference championship game. He got 2 catches for
But
30 yards.
they didn't need him to.
Didn't need him. They're running the ball really, really well. At least they
Mm-hmm.
did against that Buffalo front, which I thought they would have some success running. This is a different animal coming up for both these teams. Look, on the Philly side, we talked about Jalen Hurts just kind of being injured, stay out of the way, let Saquon Barkley do his thing. Barkley obviously did his thing. Lo and behold, A.J. Brown gets some catches. He goes over his game total. He gets out of the book club, at least for the day. Now, he has a big game. And you've got Jalen Hurts that's running the ball more effectively because it's late in the playoffs, and hurt or not, he's going to take off. What? So how much do you dip into that versus what we've seen all year? It's been kind of a Barkley show and nobody else at Philly,
Right.
with their great defense, number one ranked defense in the league. Secondary's great. I mean, this is a really good matchup. And those of you who just think, well, Kansas City's there, let's go. I mean, this is not the same. Philadelphia's winning games the way that Super Bowl champions win games.
Running the football and defense.
Defense, best, and they don't have to have a lot out of their quarterback. He protects the ball at all costs, almost to a detriment. He will take sacks.
Now, he absolutely should be throwing the ball away, yeah.
Yeah, did a much better job this last week of getting rid of the ball in those kind of, play clocks running down. He's holding the ball, he throws it out of bounds. So he did a better job. But in the past, it's been, I'm not putting it in harm's way. I'll take a sack. If he doesn't do that, A.J. Brown has some success. This team is super dangerous because their defense is next level good. But are they going to be able to run the ball? Barkley having to run into one of the top rush defenses in the league. Kansas City, really good defensively. That's what kept them in a lot of the games when all their receivers were hurt. So great matchup. We're going to have a ton of ways to make money. Go to fatjacksports.com. Get signed up today. This will be 13 in a row when we're done of hitting the Super Bowl. Some of the player props, just initial stuff, Brandon. the easiest one last week was Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown. Anytime touchdown was almost 2-1.
And he had 2 in the first 2 carries.
First carry. I mean, he did not. One of our prop bets last week, and that was the only thing that didn't do great last week. And honestly, it was the second game. It really wasn't that first game. But Barkley, we played over 125 rushing, which I know was an inflated number. But I also knew Washington couldn't stop the run. They were going to give him a ball a ton of times. And in fact, what happened was because of the turnovers from Washington, the game got out of hand. They take him out of the game. Now he's not carrying it in the fourth quarter. Yep. There were 8 or 10. What's his name? The kid from Clemson that scored a touchdown late. Shackley. What is it?
Shipley.
Shipley. Yeah, Jordan Shipley, or I think it's Jordan's first. Anyway, Shipley gets catches. He's gashing off 10 to 15 yards at a time late in that game.
Which is a time that's normally reserved for Saquon to just hammer the ball late. But even then, he only missed that by 7 yards. He had 15 carries.
Yeah, all he had to do was play any of the last 2 series.
Yeah, he didn't play any of the last 7 minutes.
Yeah, if it was even any closer at all, that thing flies over the total because he was averaging, I think, 6 or 7 yards a rush for most of that game. Actually, over 8 for most of the game. Anyway, but Barkley being able to run the football effectively is a lot of what Philly does. So you're talking about this week. The easiest bet last week was Barkley to score anytime touchdown. This week, now he's a huge favorite. Minus 190 to score an anytime touchdown. You can get plus 430, so 4-1 or better, to score the first touchdown, or plus 480 to score the last touchdown. Jalen Hurts, about even money to score a touchdown. Probably not the worst bet in the world. I mean, they get it inside the one. They do the tush push. I will tell you, though, Brandon, as we get deeper into this, one of the things that was the most surprising to me is how much Kansas City was winning the line of scrimmage against Buffalo, especially in those tush push situations. They figured out how to at least neutralize it against a team that likes to do that. So,
yeah, they stopped Josh Allen on a 4th and 1. And that's, I mean, it's a poor man's version of what Philly does, in terms of that, just because I don't think Buffalo has quite the size up front that Philadelphia does. But yeah, I mean, they showed at least last week that just, it's not a given now with Jalen Hurts in that formation.
Yeah. First touchdown for Jalen Hurts plus 650, last touchdown plus 650. Travis Kelce, plus 120, so a little over even money to
anytime touchdown.
Anytime touchdown. 8-1 to score first or last. Worthy plus 140. So you've got the normal cast of characters in the who's going to score at all, who's going to score first type things. Any thoughts on any of that?
Kareem Hunt, career resurgence after he spent time with the Chiefs, had an off the field issue. They let him go. He goes to Cleveland and had pretty much, I can't say salvaged his career, but he put together some big numbers. All of a sudden comes back into the fold for Kansas City. I love him to score touchdowns. He scored a touchdown in I think Jim Nance had the stat. He's played in 5 AFC Championship games and he scored a touchdown in all 5. So that's pretty wild. But yeah, I'd love him to score a touchdown. But there's going to be a bunch over the next week or so that we're going to dive in and find, because as you said, the sportsbooks are offering so many props and so many wagers on the game that some of these maybe not get the attention that they would on a normal week. Maybe.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt plus 140, anytime touchdown, 9-1, first touchdown or last touchdown. Oof. So I mean, if you think he's going to go early or late, you get 9-1. Getting ready to be in Vegas for the Super Bowl.
21st trip with you.
God,
that's insane to me.
How old are we? I mean, literally, that is so old. 20 plus years.
The first year I went with you was the first Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl. That's just a frame of reference to how long I've been doing this with you and how long we've been doing this. That was when Terrell Owens played with a broken leg. That guy's in the Hall of Fame now. Like, we are old.
Yeah.
We've been doing this a while.
There are lots of red flags of how old things are. But namely, when I get out of the shower, I can tell that things are not where they used to be.
Right.
But yeah, we've been doing this a long time. So you're excited about this year, I'm sure. What are you looking forward to the most?
I honestly getting out of town, being somewhere where it's not 12 degrees will be fun. But also, we get together with get the whole crew together and go out and have good dinners, and the people watching again will be phenomenal. Again, not as horrific as it could have been had it been a Bills Eagles Super Bowl. But it's a low key year after last year though, because the Super Bowl was in Vegas last year. You step off the plane last year, it was absolute just electricity in the air. I don't know how this year is going to feel after last year because of how tamed down it's going to be because the Super Bowl is not in Vegas.
I hated last year.
It was it was a lot.
Too much. I had to work, and
Mm-hmm.
I like Super Bowl. By the time I get to Super Bowl, I'm gonna handicap anyway. But by the time I get to Super Bowl, it's kind of a deep breath, and because the game was there, I was on Radio Row.
Mm-hmm.
The TV show wanted to do a bunch of stuff. I actually
Mm-hmm.
had to work, and we won the game easily last year. It wasn't even close. The last 2 years, it's not if we're going to win; it's by how much. I mean, it's been last year got tied at the end. We had
Yeah,
under,
we needed that touchdown late to get there, but yeah.
but most of the game, you're like, this thing's asleep. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to win.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to win easily. So I'm not. That's not the thing. But you had so many people, and more importantly, I was asked to do a bunch of stuff. People forget I'm a gambler first. I'm not a whatever this is. I'm not a media anything. Um, but the TV show is, and really the radio show also. Though those I do them once a week or so, and then I do the radio hits on the weekend. That's all fine because I love talking about the Super Bowl. But
Mm-hmm.
when it gets to the weekend, I don't. I want to relax and watch the games and have some fun.
Get a massage, have dinner with your friends. Like
Yeah, and just
that
kind of
wasn't an option.
take a deep breath. But I had to work last, so I'm glad that it's not there. I will always go to Vegas for the Super Bowl. It's the best place in the world for me because I want to bet the games. I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily need to be at the game. So
Sure.
I get it. But go to fatjacksports.com if you want to win for sure. If you had one prop bet, Brandon, we talked about this last year, $1 million,
Mm.
what would you play it on? And you took over 2.5 reception or two
Uh,
and a half passers.
Two and a half players to throw a pass, not complete a pass, just throw a pass. So I hit that. It was for it was plus 160. So I was like, hey, give me my 1.6 mil and we're out of here.
It'd be
I
interesting this year, by the way, before we get off that, it'd be interesting this year rather what that number is because
mhm.
they have Travis Kelce is liable to throw a pass. I guess a backwards pass doesn't count because he has that down the field thing where he'll just throw it no matter
The
what.
lateral stuff. But I mean, you got an innovative play caller in Andy Reid who's going to try to get the ball into the hands of playmakers, and sometimes that may not be, as weird as it sounds, it may not be Patrick Mahomes. He's at least willing to entertain that. Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator for the Eagles, probably a little bit more conservative, but when you have we've seen times this year where Saquon will be in like the Wildcat and then they'll split Jalen Hurts out. I guarantee they've been putting that on film just to wait for a matchup, and if that comes through to this year, we'll see. But yeah, I'm very interested in the number in that one. But in terms of a prop for this year, this might be the year of the octopus, where you get the touchdown and then you get the 2-point conversion. So the 8-point play with Jalen or Saquon, that almost feels like a possibility. But it's again, it comes down to the number.
Yeah, it's there's so many options with these teams they have such strong tendencies for what they do well
Mm-hmm.
that they're not going to change that, but there will be some wrinkles off of that, and that's where you can kind of hit those home runs. I mean, that's not the $1 million octopus bet.
No,
Probably you're going to
no.
find something a little safer, but yeah, there will be a few of those where you're going to have simply because of what they're able to do, and we know they're going to do. But then there's going just like they're tricking us as gamblers, they have to trick the other team. So there's going to be some spots where they're going to go away from their tendencies. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get closer, and certainly when you get signed up at fatjacksports.com, we're going to give you those. All of those prop bets are included in your package. Um, I'm I'm not that upset about the matchup from a fan perspective. The Philly fans are going to primarily go to. There'll be a lot of them out there for sure, and I want to keep a wide berth for most of them because they are very consistent. I've said for years the worst fans in the country, and I believe that there will be fights for sure.
Oh yeah.
And they'll be beating up Kansas City farmers that don't really want to fight, but probably have a gun. So
It's going to be a little dicey.
I
Yeah.
mean, don't show up to a Don't show up to a gunfight with a Philly cheesesteak. That's all I'm saying. So you you better get it whipping with cheese. You go show up because a lot of Kansas City folks will be packing lunch. So and
Who
packing.
has the better food though? Kansas City or Philly?
I mean, I'd say Kansas City. I like the sandwiches in Philly, but
Cheesesteaks are pretty solid.
yeah, they're great. But if you had to live on one thing, barbecue really
No,
hits a
barbecues.
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Barbecue is a lot more all encompassing. So yeah.
Yeah, I probably we're from Oklahoma also. That may be part of it. It's just culture. I just relate to the Kansas City people a lot better than I do Philadelphia people. And I'll tell you, my son and I went to a final four. Actually, it was a final
Elite
16,
Eight. The
Elite
Sweet
Eight, Sweet
16, yeah.
16. The only time I've ever been scammed.
Ticket scalper. I forgot about this story.
His name was Boogie, and my son.
You bought tickets from a guy named Boogie.
I didn't know his name was Boogie till later, but yeah, because I went back and found Boogie. But yeah, the my son still remembers that. My son is on Wall Street now. He's 25, but he was like 12 or 11 or 12 or 13. The only time that we've ever gotten literally cheated, and this is back before everything was electronic. You could buy them on the street, all that. Was in Philadelphia. So that's another reason why Boogie has ruined it for most Philly fans. And the fact you go on the internet, most of the time when you see some guy acting like a jackass, it's either in New York, San Francisco, or Philadelphia.
Philly, yeah.
So I just, but there will be some of that. But I don't hate it that much. So
That's how I am with John Elway. Real quick, I was in Denver for some reason as a little kid, maybe 5 or 6 years old, and John Elway was doing an autograph signing at an IGA store, like in the grocery store. And I walk in, I'm like, holy crap, it's John Elway. So I just walk up to the table, not even realizing that it's the whole process where like you got to get in line and blah blah blah, and you got to pay whatever amount. And he's like, hey, buddy, you got to get in line. And I was just like, I just wanted to say hello. And from that day on, I was like, you know what? I hate John Elway. So yeah, I get it. I get it.
That's exactly right. It doesn't take much. I mean, you have one interaction.
You get slighted once, and I will hold a grudge. That's how I learned that day as a very astute 5-year-old. That I was like, you know what?
John,
not only screw that guy, but you know what? This is my personality from now on. One minor inconvenience, and I go off.
That's right. Hoping that Denver never wins another game.
Never.
And he never sells another car. I hope every one of his cars get recalls. So, yeah, that's about right.
Anytime the Broncos were in the Super Bowl, I was just like, no, screw that guy.
Not today, John. That's exactly right. So, anyway, great time of year, great time to enjoy the games and stuff for sure. I get in on I go out the Pro Bowl week. We may do another skills challenge that beat the odds show. Last year we tied a hula hoop to the top of a rental car and threw footballs through it. Me and one of the co-hosts, and see who could throw the football and punt it. We punted some, so we may do a skills challenge for that show. The Super Bowl show will be good. We both the other guy. This is Beat the Odds. If you're out there and you're listening, you want to watch the TV show, go to Beat the Odds. It's on YouTube. It's also runs in about 250 markets around the country. It runs on the Yes Network in New York, all over the country, except Oklahoma, of course. Nobody. It actually runs down in Wichita Falls, I guess, in one of those stations, but nowhere anybody lives or wants to live. So, anyway, go to Beat the Odds. You can see the free winners for the Super Bowl coming up on next week's show. So, a lot of different reasons. Very exciting time of year. Go to fatjacksports.com, get signed up today, and start winning. So, what are your thoughts going into this game, Brandon? Where are we looking at as far as a lot of points, not a lot of points?
I mean, we talked about recency bias in the last segment. When you see that both the winning teams combined to score 87 points, it's kind of hard to not look at that total of 49.5 and be like, boom, automatic over. For me, knowing what Philly does, defense and running the football, whichever team can attack the edges better. We saw Kansas City get gashed a little bit by James Cook in Buffalo's running game. And anytime Saquon busts one, it's on the edge. So if these teams stay true to their identities, I mean, a total of 49.5 or 50, whatever it comes down to on Sunday at kickoff, you tell me that going into this game, it's going to be 26-24. I think that's very, very possible. I would be surprised if neither of these teams gets out of the teens. So for me, the over is probably that'd be the first thing I would look at in trying to bet this game.
I think if you're going to look at the total, you're going to have to earn it. It's going to be because both of these coaches, especially when they get deeper into the playoffs over their career, go to a more conservative game plan. They
Hmm.
are okay punting the ball and playing defense with their great defenses. Andy
And
Reid has
playing
been
field position.
exactly. Andy Reid's been known for that. I mean, he will the better the other teams off or if they have a worse defense, he will control the clock. So he goes under a lot of times in these things when he could score a bunch of points because he knows I don't have to take unnecessary risk. I don't have to
Hmm.
go when I want to. I can play field position because I can open it up when I have to. Philadelphia, their entire game plan is built around that. Run the ball first. Don't let Jalen Hurts turn the ball over. Throw it when you have to. So as they get into this type of spot, there's going to be periods of the game, I believe, where there's not going to be a lot of points.
Hmm.
But then they're going to, somebody gets down. Well, now we got to score. We got to open it up. And most of the time, recently, they've had success opening it up. So they've been able to score when they've needed to. But there will be some gaps in this game, uh, maybe first quarter under or second quarter under. Some of those type where even if you like over, I think if you go over every quarter, you're going to lose. If you go under every quarter, you're going to lose. I think it's going to be one of those, depending on the game script, is when do these teams decide to open it up based
Hmm.
on how things are going within the game. That makes it a very interesting matchup because you do have teams that can go crazy offensively, but tendency-wise, they don't want to. They
Yeah.
really want to run it. They really want to play good defense, get their possessions, not turn the. We've seen in the playoffs turnovers decide these games.
Yeah. I
So
mean, Washington turned the ball over 3 times and they lost by 20
went home,
or
yeah.
30. Yeah.
And the round before you had Detroit turn it over 5 times. They're arguably the best team not only this year but in the last 5 to 10 years, and they've been home for a couple weeks now because Jared Goff threw it to the other team. You had Baltimore go to Buffalo, turn it over
Mm.
3 times. The game is over the minute that happens. And by the way,
Yeah.
we should say this public service announcement. This game coming up in the Super Bowl, if one of these teams is -3 in the turnovers, they lose. You don't even need to watch the game. If you
Yep.
see it after the box scores and one of these teams, even -2, they lose. Sometimes you can overcome one percentage wise. Statistically, you can overcome one depending on where it results in points and what you're able to do in the special teams, different things. But 2 turnovers, if you're -2 in the turnover battle, you're not winning this game. So don't go crazy. That's always my message this time of year. We've had a wonderful run over the last month or last 3 weeks or so. 3-1 in the divisional, 3-1 in the conference. We had the extra play going. Basketball's been winning. Soccer's been winning. Everything's been winning. Don't load up all that and say, hey, summer's going to be awesome. We're going to go to Greece this summer because Jack's going to hit this 13 years in a row. We're probably going to hit it 13 years in a row. But if our team, whatever, turns it over 2 or 3 times, they're not going to win. If the other team does, you're not going to even need to watch because we're going to win. If it's even, that's what I'm going to get you on the right side of. So go to fatjacksports.com. You don't want to guess. Get those longer packages. Get the basketball. You're going to get the football for free for the rest of. You go through March Madness to the NBA Finals. You're not paying for the Super Bowl information. So great time to get signed up. Add the soccer going this week, and more importantly, add it through May at least. I mean, that stuff has been making a ton of money. Baseball season's free when you sign up before the Super Bowl. So great time to get in the system. Alternate lines, Brandon. So if you're willing to, who do you like? You like Philly? You like Kansas City?
Boy, I've been waffling on this for a while now.
And let's just say you like. Let's say you like Kansas City. Let's say the three-peat is there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, -1.5. Yeah, but yeah, if you're confident enough in Kansas City that they're going to win, they're going to force some turnovers. 3.5.
well, that's the thing. Well, let's say they turn it.
6.5?
Let's say
What's
Philly.
the number?
Let's say Philly gets down, can't run it. Let's say that Kansas City's #1 run defense or #2 run defense is able to stop Barkley. They put it into Jalen Hurts' hands, and A.J. Brown fumbles the ball, which he's been known to do when he tries to run after the catch a little bit, and they turn it over. Kansas City wins, and it's not that close. If you will let's say Kansas City's going to win by 7 points, because I think there's a chance if Kansas City wins, the game script to me if Kansas City wins is Philly can't run it. Kansas City kind of does what they do. It's a lower scoring game because they're not taking a lot of chances. This is one of the possibilities. And then Jalen Hurts throws an interception and or A.J. Brown catches it and then fumbles it when he's trying to run after the catch, that type of stuff. And Kansas City wins 24-17. So what do I get if I'm willing to lay a touchdown with Kansas City?
Kansas City -6.5 +196 on FanDuel.
So what about 8.5 or 9?
280.
So I can get 3-1. If I can just get this thing up to double digits with Kansas City, I get 3-1. If Philly wins, they are able to do what a lot of teams did this year, which was control the football, keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes, keep him on the bench, and then, as importantly, his receivers were not effective. And so they had to kind of just scrape some things out. They doubled Kelsey. The other guys didn't get free. Worthy was just okay. Maybe he pulls a hamstring or something. And you get Philly winning. If you can get them, they get that number gets interesting quickly. So you get up 6.5. So Philly wins by a touchdown, which I think with turnovers especially, you could see either of these things happen. A Philly wins by 6.5 or more, you get almost 3-1, 280 plus 280. So 100 to bet to win 280. 7.5, you get 350. You get Philly up to where this thing's not even that close. Say Patrick Mahomes goes out in the first series, and they win by 10.5. You get almost 5-1. So a lot of
silly.
A lot of the game script will have a lot to do with who wins. But if you can figure it out, you not only can win with that side and total bet, you can drill down and make a lot more money. And we'll have some of those options. There will be some long shot options this year that will include, this is what I think the score is going to be. If I don't think it's going to be a 1-point game, this is what I think the score is going to be. You can get this team minus this, and it'll pay this, because things have changed, Brandon. I mean, it's not this is not your grandfather's parlay cards in the bar down on Fifth Street. This is, you can bet on anything and everything, and you do it legally. So we're going to have a lot of ways to make money on those games as we get closer to the game. Go to fatjacksports.com if you don't have to worry about any of that, and just get signed up. I will tell you, everybody's betting, Brandon. Everybody's betting on everything. I went to the dentist today. I had a cap come off back of my tooth or whatever. So I'm in Clearwater, Florida, and so went to the dentist that we know down here. And there's a nice lady named Judy in there, and she is she basically works with the doctor, and she checks you in and stuff. I'd never seen her before. She said, "What do you do?" I said, "Professional sports gambler." "Oh my God. Well, how'd you do yesterday?" "I went 2-2 yesterday. I had a parlay that didn't hit." This woman's like 60. I mean, and she is knee deep in that. She had a 4-teamer, and gosh, if they had just done X, Y, or Z. At first, I've got the thing going in my mouth. I said, "Listen, stop playing parlays. All right, let's get you off the parlay wagon." She said, "Oh my gosh, my husband, he was betting on ping pong. We were up at 2 a.m. last night watching ping pong."
I joke, but there are random videos that will come across my Instagram, and it'll be like, there's a 5-on-5 fighting, like mixed martial arts league in Europe, in like Eastern Europe. I would bet on that.
Yeah. I said, "Judy, your husband might have a gambling problem."
Right. If you're betting ping pong ever, I don't care if it's in the Olympics. At
2 a.m. on a Sunday? I mean,
no,
what'd you do last night? I was sweating out Ying Li and Chang Wao. You're trying to get it done in the ping pong thing. I mean, it's just in Asian ping pong. I just don't know that that's what you need to be doing. But everybody's betting on everything, and this weekend and next weekend will be no different. So fatjacksports.com. The key to betting, guys, is don't lose. Just don't consistently lose. A lot of you are wrapping it up for the year because you're not winning. If you were with us last week in basketball, went 11-5, you're not wrapping anything up. You're up over 40 games in basketball. You're excited about March Madness. You're excited.
This week generally is a banger week for basketball.
Really?
Because you would think, oh, it's Super Bowl. All the attention's focused there. Hey, basketball's on the back burner. No, we're usually this week is. I land in Vegas with profit.
Yeah, a lot of times we're up 10 to 15 games by the time we get to the game, just for the weekend. So $100, you're up over $1,000. Now you can shoot your shot a little bit. Show up to your gunfight with a Kansas City Chiefs fan with a Philly cheesesteak, because you've got 10 units of profit in your pocket.
Hey guys, this is the Fat Jack. Are you finally ready to get a better plan betting the games this year? Let me help. Go to fatjacksports.com, where we understand that it's not the gambling she hates, it's the losing. fatjacksports.com.
If you want to stay in touch with everything related to the Fat Jack, follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it. We are there at Fat Jack Sports. You can also watch the Fat Jack Sports Hour on YouTube every week. Get free winners and tips on how to become a better sports bettor.
Plus, see Jack's appearances on the nationally syndicated TV show Beat the Odds. Stay connected with the Fat Jack Sports Service at Fat Jack Sports on all the socials and on YouTube.
Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour, and for the final time this week, here is our number one pick. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Fat Jack Sports Hour. Getting ready for the Super Bowl. Go get signed up today if you want to make some money this weekend and all year long at the best rates the entire year. We missed out on an opportunity, Brandon. I said a month ago, I do the TV show out of Las Vegas, out of the Fox affiliate, and they are the home of the Las Vegas Raiders. And so literally a month ago, whenever they fired their head coach, the next day, or that day, I was actually in studio doing the show, and they said, who they're going to hire next? And for some reason, Brandon, I was 100% sure, and I told them, I said, you know what, I have no information on this. But just knowing how the ownership is for the Raiders, they're going to want the opposite of what they're going to want, like an 85-year-old white grizzled veteran dude that's been in the league for 1,000 years. That's where they're going to go. Pete Carroll is who they're going to, and everybody laughed and said, he's too old, isn't he? No chance. And I said, you know what? I'm not just guessing. All right. I knew Dion wasn't going to Dallas. All these other, I just have kind of ideas. This one, I was so sure about the move they were going to make that I stood up and said, listen, I'm telling all of you well, sure enough, I look like I'm Biff from Back to the Future. And we could have bet that somewhere.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I was convinced that they were going to be dumb enough to bring like John Gruden back into the fold.
You know what, John Gruden, that line of thinking is what got Pete Carroll there.
Right. That's how because I guarantee they kicked it around. They're like, okay, granted, there still is a lawsuit going on with the NFL and against us, but we like John. John, he's a Raider at heart. Let's bring him in. And I think they kind of talked it over like, okay, obviously we can't do that. Who's the next, like,
I promise you, somebody over there Googled, how long does the average male American live? They literally had to Google it and figure it out. He's going to be, let's do the math here. You get the fingers out. Okay, 72. What is he, like 72? 72.
I mean, our president's 80, so I mean, head coach at 70 is fine.
No, and that's where they landed. They're like, you know what? Shoot, we got a guy 89 years old when he's done with this running the country. Surely he can run our football team. We'll just sign him to 2 years just in case he gets a polyp or something. So, I mean, yeah, but definitely we missed an opportunity there because
sure.
Pete Carroll was an absolute favorite because of the John Gruden thinking. So, if you want the next one of those, go get signed up. By the way, also quickly, we have about 12 spots left for the elite package for the new year. If you're a guy that plays more than $300 a game, you like to play more than just the top plays, and or you like to play your own stuff. All right, so two of those three. If that's you, go to the website, go to the packages, scroll all the way to the bottom, read about the elite package, and then email the office. It's more money. It's for higher players. Everybody gets the same top plays. Everybody gets his best bets. Everybody gets the same picks as far as the best bets go. The elite players are getting information on games they want to play that we're not releasing. They have a line that they're able to text in. They also are able to get plays from some of the sharpest players in the world that are not me and don't work for us. They basically are just guys that I reciprocate with. I get their stuff. I pass those games along. There's somewhere between 10 to 20 extra games per week during football season that go out there lower rated, but they are very profitable. If you want to see how profitable, go to the results tab, look, read the little notation under each week, elite package information, and you'll see they are very profitable, only for higher players. Extra plays, again, everybody gets the same top selections every week. No matter whether you play $5 a game or $50,000 a game, you get the same best plays, but those lower rated plays, very profitable. We got a few spots left for the elite package for the new year. Reach out if that's something you might be interested in. We'll send you more information. Brandon?
And it's great. It's a great package too, because if you are one of those guys who's like, you know what, I really want to play Air Force Wyoming this weekend.
Yeah.
And you'll just, reach in and be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this game? That's something that other clients don't get. And that's the reason it's the elite package. You're paying extra, but you're also getting that extra touch and care and time that the general client base isn't necessarily getting.
Too much work for me to do that to every single person.
God, no.
But if you pay extra for it, I've done the math on it. So, and I have a lot of guys. I've got a guy who lives in Colorado. He goes to the Bronco game every week. So he reaches out every week. He wants to know. He'll go to Colorado games. He loves Deion Sanders. He wants to know every week because he's going to be at the game.
Yep.
Same deal in Dallas. Got guys in Dallas that are on that. They're going to play the Cowboys. They want to go. They want to know whether I like them or not, so they'll know how much to bet. It makes them money just on that extra information. If you're a higher player and you're betting, 3 to 5, most play 500 at least. Some of them up to 20,000. So, but anyway, go check that out at the website. Reach out if you want more information on the Elite package. I only say that a couple of times a year because that package will fill up, and I'll have guys that'll reach out in August and say, hey, what about the Elite package? And if you haven't been on it before, I have to say it's full. We'll let you know if something comes over. So fatjacksports.com to get dialed in and start winning. Also sign up for a free pick there. Free pick 1 last week went out. Had 2 or 3 people. Where's my free pick? I'm not going to